I thought it might be useful to talk about some editor's tools for shaping rhythm, especially one I call trajectory phrasing. Just a heads up on this is not really stuff you want to be talking about with directors. It's kind of like secret editor's business. And this would be really useful because it's one that AI can't imitate.
What is trajectory phrasing?
A lot of my work is trying to figure out what editors are really doing. You know, I teach editing and I've written a whole book about editing, and I 100% will tell you that editing is intuitive. But then I have a problem, which is how do you teach something if it's intuitive? So what I've done is I've broken editing down in a way that can describe what is your intuition made of? You know, what are you really drawing on? What knowledge do you really have?
Wax on, wax off, breathe in, breathe out.
You maybe kind of don't have it at a conscious level, but you have it and you're using it. And if we refine that and make it more specific and exact, can we use it better? That's my theory. I would be getting notes in the edit suite and they'd be kind of blurry to me. Like, people would use words like timing and pacing. I might not be sure exactly what they mean, or that might mean everything, or they might not mean either of those things. So I wanted to understand more specifically, what is timing, what is pacing? And then I realized, okay, actually there's something missing here that editors are doing all the time, and it's just not described. And that is what I call trajectory phrasing.
So I probably am just as confused as most people. What's the difference between timing and pacing?
Great question, thank you. So timing is three things. It's which frame, how long, kind of roughly, and where the shot is. Which frame is pretty clear, right? You know, you can really change a shot. You can take 5 frames off and you can change the whole meaning. How long a shot is in there for, you know, you can have that sunset in for 10 frames, 10 seconds. In order to illustrate this idea of timing of where you place a shot, I'm gonna get you to help me tell a joke. You have to ask me 2 questions. The first question is if I'm Karen Pearlman, the famous comedian. And the second question is, what's the secret of my success?
Now let's do this!
Hey, are you Karen, the famous comedian?
Why, yes, I am. Thank you for recognizing me.
I always wanted to ask, what's the secret of your
Timing.
success?
If I put the shot that's like where I say timing after your question, it wouldn't be very funny, right? But you put it in the middle there. And so that's what you're doing. You're putting a shot in relation to another shot. And that's what timing is.
When, what, and for how long? That's the definition of editing, is what I thought.
That's all there really is. But when you talk about how it affects an audience, then some other things start to come in. The 3 things in pacing are the rate of cutting, how quickly or slowly you cut, the rate of change or movement inside a shot. So you might have the burglar grab the jewelry, breaks the window, kicks over the house owner, and runs. Like, you could put all of that in one shot. And then you wouldn't be cutting very fast, but there'd be a lot going on in that shot. Or the third thing in pacing is the rate of change, like, overall.
Is this where we run?
Not yet.
Like, how quickly do events occur? So that's part of pacing as well.
So now that we've established all that as a foundation, what's trajectory phrasing?
The place that people usually go, huh, is on the word trajectory, which is not used that commonly. Trajectory describes a combination of the direction of movement and the energy that propels it. But energy is the part I'm going to focus on here, because what I mean by energy is like the attitude or intention
Not so controlled.
behind a movement.
Come on, attack it! Attack it! Come on!
If you think of like a soccer ball, right, and you think someone kicks the ball and scores a goal, the same soccer ball, somebody's just like having a little, you know, play in the backyard around the barbecue or whatever with some friends, and they kick it between each other. It's not to score a goal, but that ball will move in a different direction, different energy. And already, even though it's just a ball and it's just inert, you can see that the different like intention or attitude makes a different energy in that soccer ball.
When I hear the word trajectory phrasing, I'm also thinking patterns. Sort of establish a certain anticipation of what's going to happen next, and then you break those patterns and all that stuff.
Yeah, totally. I mean, essentially rhythm is movement in a pattern and trajectory is movement under force. So you're making a pattern out of different trajectories to build anticipation for something happening. Like a game is a perfect example.
Kind of like Ted Lasso. When they do the soccer scenes, and I don't know if the American audience understands this, but for Europeans, it's very comical to see these scenes, the way that they're edited and the way they play soccer, because it almost feels like they're playing in slow motion.
Zorro muffs it. The Hammers pounce back into the mixer, and it's 3-2.
Oh, it might get worse. This is from far. This is quite astonishing. It's all over now.
Is it comical on purpose?
No.
So then what they're trying to do is explain to American audience how the game works.
I think it has to do with the special effects that they use, because most of the games, there's a lot of CGI, like how the ball flies and how they accept the ball and the audience and everything else.
Sounds to me like what they've done is they've hired actors, not soccer players.
And I mean, the plays are right. Whoever choreographed the plays, they make sense.
It's one of those shows you wish you could get your hands on.
Yes.
It's like, could I just help you out with this a little bit here?
So how do I use this for Ted Lasso?
You're gonna need to know 3 things about your trajectory phrasing. The first one is, are your shots gonna be linking or colliding? And the simplest way to think about it is in terms of the movement direction. If you want shots to link or match in a way, you keep the movement direction going left to right from one shot and then left to right in the next shot. And if you want them to collide, you go left to right in one shot and then right to left in the other shot, and they go at each other.
Is linking similar to continuity?
Yes, linking is what they do a lot in continuity. Then we have the next part of trajectory phrasing, which is you can make shots link, but what you're also doing in continuity is you're choosing how the movement flows in different takes. If you choose the energy where he like storms into the locker room and hurls his shirt, you have a different story than if he kind of like strolls into the locker room and tosses his shirt onto the bench. You're choosing the different energy of the take, and that's a really important part of the phrase. And then you have a third thing, which is stress or emphasis. You can kind of think of it as like punctuation in a way. It's very often a question of choosing a shot size. If we're doing that shirt onto the bench, do we just keep it in the wide and he kind of tosses his shirt on the bench? Is he hurling that shirt onto the bench and we like get right in close and see it slap against the wood, you know? But here's my big pitch about how you're going to use trajectory phrasing, and this one I think is highly relevant at this exact moment, which is this: AI cannot do it.
Why not?
Because AI can't tell what the effort or intention is. AI can or will soon be able to tell you most successful movies cut this quickly or slowly. Mostly, continuity editing, they start the scene in a wide and then they go to a mid and then they go to close. There's lots of things that AI will be able to do based on learning how things have been done in the past. But what it cannot do is read intention to make a phrase that has meaning or tells story.
When do you think editors will get fired and replaced by AI?
We did another video a couple of years ago that was watching, sorting, remembering, selecting, and composing. And here's the interesting thing about that is that AI can actually do 4 out of 5 of those things. But the one that it can't do is really important. AI can sort, and that's probably what it's best at. When you sort your material with AI and you get keywords put on it, then that's a way of helping. The AI is doing the remembering, or a lot of the remembering for you. You just have to type in soccer ball and it'll show you all the shots with soccer ball. In a way, do selecting and composing. It can say, oh, well, these are the rules of continuity editing. I'll select a wide and then a close and then kind of analyze all the patterns that have ever been and imitate them. But what it cannot do is watch. This goes back to what we were talking about in that video where we talk about watching for an editor isn't just looking at it, it's actually a special skill that an editor has where they can watch something and feel something about it and also notice what they're feeling. I think editors could be replaced like any minute for productions that don't care about how good they are, or where they really want something to be standard and work in the patterns that have worked in the past.
Sort of my intuition is that yes, there will be editors that will be replaced very soon because they are not watching, feeling, and noticing, but they still work. They still create content.
I just stare at my desk, but it looks like I'm working. I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work.
I don't know what's going on with that, like the fact that that content is acceptable. A film is completely a cultural creation, and culture is completely a human creation. This thing, this me thing that feels and that has a point of view, that has to have a hand in this selection and composing process. Otherwise, it will just become either nonsense or generic.
Scene 17, take 1. Mark.
Have you seen Babylon?
Yes.
Do you remember the scene where they are shooting on the soundstage?
Yes.
I want to talk about that scene and trajectory phrasing because I thought that is cut brilliantly. Tom Cruise sets up a rhythm.
Hello, college.
Cut.
And then they go take after take after take.
Action.
Each take, he goes faster and faster and faster with going through the same steps again and again.
Cut, Mr. Marknell. Oh. It's
Scene 17, take 3. Mark.
action. Oh, hello, college.
Cut. No good for sound.
Well, fucking hell, Lloyd, could you just let us get through one take?
Down.
It's a masterclass on how to educate the audience, how the scene will play, and then get to the next level and the point of the scene faster and faster.
Hello, college.
Motherfucker! All right, everybody, eyes on me! Any other faggot?
Great example.
Scene 17, take 5.
Each time the character Margot Robbie is playing walks into the room, she's repeating the same trajectory in the same rhythm.
Well, hello, college.
Who's these?
Each time the character of the director says
Action.
she's repeating the same trajectory in the same rhythm.
Hello, college. No, you're Mark.
They train us, they set us up so that we know what the rhythm should feel like, and we almost get there, and then it's a fail. And the fail is actually the emotional story of that moment. And then the editor keeps interrupting their trajectories at a slightly different point or with a slightly different emphasis. So he's really using this phrasing of each character's motion trajectory to tell us a story of mounting frustration.
Hello? Hi, this is Joanne.
What can people take away from this concept and how can they apply it?
One of the key takeaways to understanding trajectory phrasing is to kind of tune your eye to the intention behind movement. You want to start to be able to see how people's movement is affecting other people or affecting the circumstances.
Scene 17, take 8. Mark.
What you're doing next is you're making the energy in one shot meet the energy in the next shot, either by matching it or by changing it, right? And you can start to read that intention.
So be aware of the intention.
Like notice what you're feeling in response to, it's like tune yourself. Pick up the real nuance, the refinement, because this is what will lift your editing from being, yeah, fine, to being, wow, I really felt that. The other takeaway that you can get is developing your skills at phrasing. You know, bring in your tools of timing and pacing to help you with this, and you can start to phrase things so that they build tension or they release tension.
Trajectory phrasing is part of Karen's book, Cutting Rhythms.
Here's a little takeaway I can give you. Timing is where and when to put a shot. Pacing is how quickly or slowly to cut. Trajectory phrasing is about how things are done and why they are done. It's the how and why. And the why is why we care.
And if you as an editor can master the why, you are elite. Karen and I have been producing the Science of Editing series for the past 7 years, with millions of views in total. If you missed any of them, check them out in our playlist and let us know if you would like us to continue making these videos for you. Each one covers a specific editing topic through the lens of science, like the top 5 mistakes student filmmakers make. Click the link to watch that video right now. What's number 5 in the hit list of biggest mistakes that student filmmakers make?
Mistaking your own experience for cinema.
I'm going crazy. It's like looking in the mirror.
You often get students who get some idea for their film from something that really happened to them. And they say, oh no, but that's what really happened. But it's not cinema, is it?
Every day. My life is not